Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to look at some of the gadgets that I use for making YouTube videos and for teaching. Yes, they're the same thing actually, and I think these days professors are mostly YouTubers, and you'll find out why. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I am your channel host, Ka. Now I love to produce videos on gadgets that I use for entertainment, teaching, and cooking. I also like to share tutorial videos on how I do my video editings and as well as my favorite recipes. If you have already subscribed, thank you for coming back, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. So recently I noticed a picture posted on the LinkedIn network by my professor colleague, and it actually looked like this. Alright, here you are looking actually at my colleague's picture. Now of course I would protect the privacy of my colleague with that little face there, but you can see here we have a ring. Okay, we have a light ring here, which is commonly used by any YouTubers, and as well as a quite professionally looking microphone. Okay, now the only thing that is not as professional as a YouTuber perhaps is a lack of a camera. I think my colleague was using her laptop camera, okay, face camera for that lecture. Now in comparison to a professional YouTuber setup, studio setup, we have a similar ring and as well as the microphone. So now that tells you that there's very little difference compared between the two setups. So I accidentally got into being a YouTuber from reviewing the PicoPix Max mobile projector about 7-8 months ago. It seems to be a long time ago, and then everything went okay for a while, but unfortunately when then the pandemic hit all of us and everything was locked down, school were locked down, and then I have to go on to do online teaching, which I used to not doing any of those. And I have to say that, you know, when I started doing this online teaching, I realized whatever that I was getting, preparing myself actually lines up exactly of what I'm doing for YouTube. So one of the most important gadgets I think for any YouTuber, content creator, now professors is actually, I think, is a good, decent camera. And honestly, I don't have a lot of budget for a new camera, so I've been using my old camera for all of these video production that you are seeing right now. Actually is a 6-year-old camera by Samsung. It is a Samsung NX30 camera that I had already owned ahead, so I was lucky to be able to just quickly adapt using this camera, and along with tons of lens that I owned already. Now, one thing I need to point out is that the Samsung no longer make or support any off-their camera. So if my camera that you are looking at it, that you are seeing me using to film, just happened to broke or the sensor burned, yeah, I'll be out of luck. That's the downside. And honestly, for a 6-year-old camera, the internal spec is actually not very shabby. Now, if I put this camera compared to one of the more favorable or more popular camera that YouTubers are using for content creation, that is the Canon M50. Okay, yeah, the specs are actually not that bad. Well, let's go look at a screen comparison of what the specs are. So here is the side-by-side comparison between Canon M50 versus Samsung NX30 from the website Camera Decisions. Now the overall scores between the two camera, okay, it's pretty close, okay, considering Samsung NX30 is 4 years older than the M50. Now all of those features are pretty similar. Only downside or only lack of capability of saying is the 20 megapixel resolutions on this NX30 versus 24 megapixel on the M50 and the 4K video recording ability. Now, I personally don't know if I will ever need a 4K ability because my computer cannot process 4K and my home internet is certainly too slow for 4K. Now, and the articulating screen is also like 3 inches on both of the machine, and the size are comparable, the weight are comparable. Actually, the NX30 is lighter. Now, although the NX30 doesn't have internal image stabilizations, almost all of the lens have a optical image stabilizations add-on to it, and really if you are looking at the other spec, they are pretty close. Don't forget, Samsung is 4 years older. This camera is 4 years older than Canon. Alright, looking at the size comparison, they are close as far as I can tell in terms of the dimensions. And even though Samsung, like I said, is slightly bigger, it is actually slightly lighter. And looking at the sensor size, okay, actually the sensor size, Samsung's even a bit larger than the Canon M50. They all both have CMOS sensors. Alright, so overall, I think Samsung NX30, if you can find a used one on eBay for about $250 to $300, I think it would be a pretty good buy rather than fishing out $600 or so for a Canon M50. And of course, you don't get any more product support and warranty from Samsung, so that is a risk you have to take and have to decide if you want to proceed or not. In terms of the lens, the Samsung actually did a pretty decent job back in the days and produced a small collection ranging from a prime lens and also telephoto lens. Now, many of those have optical image stabilizations to compensate lack of stabilization in the camera body itself. I personally also like the NX30 because of the 3.5mm jack for microphone and the flip-out screens. And honestly, these two features, having a micro jack phone and a flip-out screen, are the key features where YouTubers and content creators are looking for these days. So in terms of the video quality, whatever you're looking at me right now in this video footage, I am using the NX30 and along with a Samsung lens that is a prime lens with a focal length of 16mm and an aperture of 2.4. So you can see a little bit of the bokeh effect back in my background, but not as much, but it's not bad. Okay, compare in terms of the wide angle that it gives, it actually I'm only like 1.5 feet in front of the camera and you see so much behind me, which is perfect for a small desk that I have in a cramped space. Now, I have other lens, but I think one of the lens that I love most is the telephoto lens. Now, the telephoto lens can actually shoot pretty awesome focal length up to 200mm, and well, let's look at some of the pictures and videos I just shot the other day afternoon. Actually, it's a wild animal in my backyard. So no matter who you are, if you are a new YouTuber, new content creator, or an amateur content creator, or just like me, like a part-time creator with a full-time job that require using camera, or any of those cases, if you want to get into photography or simple filming, okay, up your game a little bit rather than just using your cell phone, one of the best answer or best way to do it is to probably go on eBay and find some of the older camera which are still in good shape and relatively advanced. Okay, And most importantly, if you don't have enough budget, those are the place to go, and you don't need to fish out hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I think you'll be surprised of what you could find on eBay these days. So that's all for this week, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to leave some comment down below. Now, I'm not exactly a photography guy, but I'll just answer whatever questions you have on the gadgets that I own, such as some of these Samsung camera. Now, I know they're not new, but if you're considering buying a used one, want to ask my opinion, I'll give my most candid opinion in the comment down below. Okay, now that's all, and I will see you again next Friday.